Hello and welcome to ESAT. I'm Ngudu Walde with the news in brief. Bus transportations to the Oromo region from the rest of the country disrupt ahead of the 5-day stay-at-home strikes in the region that begins tomorrow as the regime deploys massive troops. Buses serving the Oromo region have been parked at the stations in Addis Ababa, Bahar Dar, and in a number of towns today. Buses that were scheduled to leave the Oromo region were also disrupted. Passengers to the Oromo region were seen receiving refunds at the main bus terminal in Addis Ababa. Reports also show that security forces blocked a number of highways connecting towns in the Oromo region. A 5-day stay-at-home strike has been called in the Oromo region to demand the release of political prisoners and in memory of those who lost their lives at the hands of security forces in protests last summer. The strikes were also called to oppose tax hikes recently imposed by the regime. Bank accounts of corruption suspects who run multi-million-dollar projects show only few thousands of dollars in balances, according to a source who said the money might have been sent offshore. ESAT learned that the largest money available in the balances of the over 50 suspects was about $15,000. The assets and bank accounts of the suspects have been freezed by the authorities when the crackdown against them began last month. 56 businessmen and officials have so far been put behind bars, accused of squandering and pocketing millions of dollars. Balances on the bank accounts of Acer Construction shows only about $4,500. The accounts of DMC Construction and Yamana Gurmai Construction show about $6,500. The largest balance was on the accounts of Gamshu Bayena Construction, which also owns the Ilili International Hotel in Kazanchis. The companies have an alleged business associations with high-ranking government officials, including Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn, Arkabe Kubai, a member of the inner circle of the TPLF and a board member of the Ethiopian Airlines, Abdullah Gameda, the Speaker of the House, and Sufyan Ahmed, the former Minister of Finance. Last week, a travel ban was imposed on high-level TPLF officials, family members, and accomplices of suspected embezzlement. The campaign against corruption did not lay a finger on higher officials of the TPLF, who are widely accused of pocketing millions of dollars, casting doubt if the regime is really serious about wiping out corruption. Some believe it was just a show, while others say it was an indication of the internal crisis within the TPLF. Transparency International in a recent report says illicit financial flows continues in 2016 and money from corruption could make it even higher. According to a global financial integrity report, Ethiopia lost $11.7 billion in illegal capital flight from 2000 through 2009. Recent studies by Transparency International also show that Ethiopia is among the top 10 African countries by cumulative illicit financial flows related to trade mispricing. The United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, says it is extremely concerned about an increase in the use of children as suicide bombers in northeastern Nigeria. In a statement issued today, UNICEF said 4 times as many cases had been recorded so far this year compared to the whole of last year. In the document, the BBC report said UNICEF uses the term human bombs instead of suicide bombers to refer to the phenomenon. UNICEF says this tactic is an atrocity causing fear and suspicion of children released by the militants. The Islamist militant group Boko Haram, operating in northeastern Nigeria, has been running a brutal campaign in the region for the past 8 years, claiming 20,000 lives and driving over 2 million people from their homes. Since January this year, UNICEF has recorded 83 cases of children being used as suicide bombers. Of that number, 55 were girls who were mostly under the ages of 15, 27 were boys, and in one case, a bomb was strapped to a baby being carried by a young girl. Boko Haram has regularly used children in its insurgency, from abducting hundreds of schoolgirls as sexual slaves to forcibly recruiting boys as child soldiers. That ends the news. Thanks for watching.